The Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell case is a disturbing blend of apocalyptic beliefs, mysterious deaths, and tragic family loss. Laurie Vallow, once a devoted mother, and Chad Daybell, a religious author fixated on the end times, became central figures in a multi-state investigation that uncovered the horrific deaths of Laurie's children, Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow. Their story not only involves a twisted interpretation of religious doctrine, but also the deaths of Laurie's estranged husband, Charles Vallow, and Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell. Over the course of several years, the pair allegedly manipulated their followers and those close to them through deceit and extreme beliefs, leading to a series of deaths. With the discovery of Tylee and JJ's remains on Chad's property, the case unraveled into one of the most harrowing true crime sagas in recent U.S. history. Welcome to Whispers in the Dark, where we shed light on the most haunting and mysterious cases that defy explanation. Today, we'll take a deep dive into the chilling story of Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell, a case that involves religious fanaticism, deception, and the tragic loss of innocent lives. This is not just a story about murder. It's a story about the dangers of blind belief and manipulation, and the ripple effects these can have on families and communities. Before we begin, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, so you never miss an update on the darkest and most perplexing crime cases. Your support helps us bring these stories to light. Laurie Vallow was born Laurie Noreen Cox in 1973 in San Bernardino, California, into a large, tight-knit family. She was the third of 5 children, and early on, she appeared to be a well-adjusted individual. By all accounts, Laurie was an energetic, loving person, someone who cared deeply for her children and was actively involved in her community and church. She married her high school sweetheart, but their marriage was short-lived. After several more failed marriages, Laurie eventually married Charles Vallow, a successful businessman. In 2006, together, they adopted Joshua J.J. Vallow, who was Charles' biological grandnephew, giving Laurie her third child, along with her biological children, Colby Ryan and Tylee Ryan. For years, Laurie maintained the appearance of a devoted wife and mother, active in her LDS Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints community, and to many, she seemed like a typical suburban mom. Laurie's life seemed to be marked by love and family devotion, but behind the scenes, she was grappling with darker forces. As her marriages crumbled and her personal life became more chaotic, Laurie found herself increasingly drawn to extreme religious beliefs that would ultimately lead her to Chad Daybell. Chad Daybell was born in Provo, Utah, in 1968. He grew up in a deeply religious household and was an active member of the LDS Church. After serving as a missionary, Chad married his wife Tammy in 1990, and the couple settled in Rexburg, Idaho, where they raised 5 children together. Chad worked in the cemetery industry as a gravedigger before launching his career as a self-published author. Chad wrote several books focusing on the end times, doomsday scenarios, and his personal belief that he had been chosen by God to prepare people for the impending apocalypse. His writings, while not mainstream within the LDS community, gained him a small but dedicated following of readers who believed in his prophetic vision. Chad Daybell's obsession with the end of the world gradually grew into something far more sinister. He began claiming that he had the ability to identify light and dark spirit souls that were either aligned with God or possessed by evil entities. According to Chad, these dark spirits needed to be eliminated before the return of Christ. In October 2018, Laurie Vallow attended a religious conference in St. George, Utah, where Chad Daybell was one of the featured speakers. By this time, Laurie had already become deeply involved in fringe LDS groups that focused on apocalyptic prophecies. When she met Chad, the two were instantly drawn to one another, united by their shared belief in the end times and their divine roles in preparing for it. Chad soon convinced Laurie that she, too, had a special role in God's plan. He told her that she was one of God's chosen ones, destined to lead the righteous through the apocalypse. Their relationship quickly escalated from spiritual discussions to a romantic affair, despite both being married to other people. From the moment Laurie and Chad met, their bond grew rapidly, both spiritual and romantic. They believed they had been chosen by God to carry out a divine mission, and anyone who stood in their way was deemed a threat. This belief would soon have deadly consequences. By early 2019, Lori's behavior became increasingly erratic. She started telling friends and family that she believed people in her life were being possessed by dark spirits, evil entities that needed to be eliminated. Lori claimed that her husband Charles had become a zombie, and that she had been chosen by God to rid the world of such darkness. Charles Vallow, growing increasingly concerned for his safety and that of his children, filed for divorce in February 2019. In the divorce documents, Charles detailed Lori's alarming beliefs, including her claim that she was a translated being sent to usher in the second coming of Christ. He also feared that Lori was planning to kill him. Charles Vallow feared for his life as Lori's descent into religious extremism spiraled out of control. He warned law enforcement, friends, and family about her alarming behavior, but his concerns were largely dismissed as part of a domestic dispute. On July 11, 2019, Charles Vallow went to Lori's house in Chandler, Arizona, to pick up JJ for school. There, he was shot and killed by Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Alex claimed self-defense, stating that Charles had become aggressive and attacked him with a baseball bat. Despite the suspicious circumstances, the case was initially treated as justifiable homicide, and no charges were filed against Alex or Lori. However, in the months leading up to Charles' death, he had made it clear that Lori believed he was a zombie and had threatened to kill him. Text messages between Lori and Chad from this time period reveal that they had been discussing Charles' death for months. Seeing it as a necessary step in their divine mission, Charles Vallow's death marked the beginning of a series of tragic and suspicious events that would eventually culminate in the disappearance of Lori's children. While authorities initially accepted Alex Cox's story of self-defense, the truth was far more sinister. In October 2019, just 3 months after Charles' death, Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy Daybell, was found dead in her home. Initially, her death was attributed to natural causes, as Tammy was a relatively healthy woman in her late 40s. Chad declined an autopsy, and within weeks, he and Lori were married. However, many people close to Tammy were suspicious of her sudden death, especially given the strange messages she had shared in the weeks prior. Tammy had reported to friends that someone had attempted to shoot her with a paintball gun just days before her death, and she expressed fear for her safety. Tammy Daybell's sudden death raised alarms among her family and friends, especially given Chad's quick remarriage to Lori Vallow. It was only after the discovery of Lori's missing children that Tammy's death would be re-examined and the disturbing truth would come to light. In September 2019, Lori Vallow moved to Rexburg, Idaho, with her children, Tylee Ryan 17 and JJ Vallow 7. It was the last time either child would be seen alive. Over the next several months, Lori repeatedly lied to family members, friends, and law enforcement about the children's whereabouts, claiming that they were safe and staying with friends or relatives. By January 2020, Tylee and JJ were officially reported missing. The investigation quickly intensified as authorities learned about Lori and Chad's disturbing beliefs, including their claims that the children had become zombies and needed to be freed. As the search for Tylee and JJ stretched on, authorities began to unravel the twisted web of lies that Lori and Chad had spun. Their apocalyptic beliefs, combined with their desire to eliminate anyone they considered a dark spirit, painted a chilling picture of what had likely happened to the children. On June 9, 2020, authorities executed a search warrant on Chad Daybell's property in Rexburg. After hours of digging, investigators made a heartbreaking discovery. The remains of both Tylee and JJ were found buried in shallow graves. Tylee's body had been dismembered and burned, while JJ's body had been wrapped in plastic and duct tape. The discovery confirmed the worst fears of the children's family and friends, and both Lori and Chad were immediately arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. The discovery of Tylee and JJ's remains was a devastating blow to all those who had held out hope that the children might still be alive. It also confirmed the extent of Lori and Chad's depravity, their willingness to kill even their own children in the name of their twisted beliefs. Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell's trials became a media spectacle, as the public watched in horror as the full extent of their crimes was revealed. Testimony from family members, former friends, and law enforcement painted a picture of a couple who had become consumed by their apocalyptic beliefs, willing to eliminate anyone who stood in the way of their divine mission. In 2023, Laurie was found guilty of the murders of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy Daybell and sentenced to life in prison, while Chad's trial was concluded in June 2024 and he was sentenced to death. The case of Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell serves as a haunting reminder of the dangers of extremism and unchecked belief. Two innocent children, a devoted husband, and a loving wife all lost their lives at the hands of a couple consumed by delusions of grandeur and apocalyptic prophecy. While justice has been served, the scars of this case will remain with the families and communities affected for years to come. Thank you for watching Whispers in the Dark. If you found this case as chilling as we did, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the world's most baffling and unsettling true crime stories. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes open to the darkness lurking around us.